everybody, welcome to the 98th edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com. Hard to imagine that we're almost at 100 episodes. A year ago I first started NoDQ&A, the tech series, and then I expanded it to the videos, and overall just a great response from everybody, and I've been very happy with the reception that the videos have gotten. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for checking them out and subscribing, youtube.com/NoDQ&AV. Right now, got a lot of questions here to answer. Always got a lot of questions to answer because I am very backed up, but I'm trying my best to get through all of them, so let's just dive right in. These days, it seems like anybody can become a world champion. Why do you think that past very talented guys like Scott Hall, Mr. Perfect, Roddy Piper never got the chance to hold a world title? And what's your view on ravishing Rick Rude? I think there's two main reasons why you're seeing so many guys today holding the world title compared to the past. First of all, back in the 80s and beyond and before that, the world title was a drawing tool. It was a drawing tool to get people to the live events and to draw pay-per-views, and you would traditionally put the title on your top guy. And during that period in the 80s, it was Hulk Hogan. He was by far the biggest draw in WWE, so they put the title on him, and the only time he lost it would be when he had to do a movie or there was some other project he was working on, and they put the title right back on him when he returned. And, you know, back then it was about the individual. The individual was the draw. Today it's the product that's the draw. People pay money to see WWE. It's not so much about seeing a particular guy. It's about seeing the whole product. So it doesn't really matter so much who the world champion is now compared to the past. And the other main reason, I think, is because the wrestling business in general is just moving faster. I mean, you have monthly pay-per-views where the title is being defended all the time. I mean, back in the 80s, Hulk Hogan would defend the title at maybe a Saturday night's main event, and, you know, there weren't so many pay-per-views, so he probably defended the title half a dozen times, maybe in 1987, 1988. So, you know, there wasn't so much an opportunity for someone else to win the title from him because there just weren't a lot of title matches. And regarding ravishing Rick Rude, I mean, he was awesome. I mean, great in-ring worker, great on the mic, great look. I mean, just a perfect fit for the wrestling business, in my opinion. I mean, he was just perfect mold. Should WWE really be surprised by low pay-per-view buy rates? I mean, they don't have a card until the week before and don't really push the pay-per-view well. The world title match was announced 9 days before the event. Your thoughts? The funny thing is, I think that they are surprised that the pay-per-views are so low. I mean, they like to blame everything else as being the reason why the pay-per-views are down. I mean, everything like maybe football is an issue, or the economy, or somebody's not getting over the way they should be. Everything is a problem except for the booking, according to WWE. And maybe one day they'll realize that they really need to work on it. And yeah, I mean, it's not good. I mean, how hard is it to announce a world title match a month before the pay-per-view and build to it? I mean, it's just mind-boggling how they wait till the very last minute to start promoting. You know, the funny thing about the Rumble is I did a poll on NoDQ asking who do you think will win the Rumble, and I wanted to list all of the major names, and I forgot Mick Foley's name on the poll. And the thing is, he was one of the few guys that they actually announced. I mean, that's really telling right there. I mean, they could have done a much better job promoting this pay-per-view. And if it does do a good buy rate, it's because it's the Royal Rumble and it's the road to Wrestlemania. But I think it's going to be down from recent years. I mean, there's no indication that it's going to do a great number this year other than the Royal Rumble name itself. So we'll have to wait and see. Hey Aaron, please respond in video. I know the WWE writer only have short-term memory, but did they forget about the girl in Y2J's cryptic messages? Who is she, and why hasn't she been mentioned since Jericho re-debuted? Perhaps they did just forget about it, and, you know, that happens in WWE where they build up a storyline and then it's dropped a week later. It also could be they're waiting and there is a plan to reveal who was behind the videos with Jericho, who that woman was or who the girl was supposed to be. I mean, it could be Stephanie McMahon. I mean, if they're doing Chris Jericho versus CM Punk, I mean, back in the summer, Punk, excuse me, was taking all those shots at Stephanie. So perhaps this is her way of getting payback by bringing Jericho and trying to get him to get revenge on Punk on her behalf. I mean, there's so many ways they could go with it, and they could do something at any time. But then again, just like the Raw GM, it might end up going nowhere, and they might just go in a different direction. So who knows? Question for NoDQ&A. Has WWE given up on Twitter? I didn't notice they haven't mentioned it until after the show, but it was a much better episode without constant Twitter references. Could this also be why Zach has been pulled, i.e. he was a big Twitter guy? Well, I'm not sure if Zack Ryder being off television has anything to do with Twitter or whatnot, but regarding Twitter, I mean, maybe WWE has finally figured out that trending on Twitter isn't really as big of a deal as they initially thought, and I mentioned this right when they started doing it. I said that, I've been on Twitter a lot, and anybody who goes on Twitter a lot knows that anything can trend at any time, and it doesn't necessarily mean that something is really popular or it's hot or whatnot. It's just the way the Twitter's set up, where if there's a short period where people are talking about something, it'll trend, but doesn't really mean anything. And I think WWE is finally realizing that, and that's why they're drastically toning down the Twitter references, which I figured was going to happen eventually. It just took them a while to figure it out, and I know they were going to give it a couple of months, and now I just think they're moving on, and perhaps in a month or two we'll start getting Google Plus references every week on WWE. I don't know. Love the show. Do you think the WWE dropped the ball on the Big Show? With his size and ability, could he have been a monster heel for years? Now he's a goofy crybaby. Well, there are a couple periods where they were doing well with the Big Show. The ones that come to mind to me was when he was being managed or guided by Paul Heyman, when he was feuding with Lesnar. I thought that was a good period for the Big Show. And then when he was the ECW champion, they kept billing him as the only guy to hold the WWE, WCW, and ECW title. So, I mean, they've done some good with Big Show, and, he's a very funny guy. So when they do these comedy gimmicks with him, it's fine with me because he plays the part well. And I loved it when, he bum rushed AJ or whatever on SmackDown, and, he was crying and all. I thought Big Show was awesome in that segment. The time that I thought they really dropped the ball on him was when he first came in. He attacked Steve Austin, and he was going to be this big monster heel to feud with Austin. And what did they do? They had him lose to Austin less than 1 month after coming in on Raw, not even a pay-per-view. They just had Austin beat Big Show clean on Raw before WrestleMania. It was so stupid. Such a waste of the Big Show, and just killed a lot of his momentum, because when he came in, he had a ton of momentum from WCW, and it just went nowhere, and they had to rebuild him. So yeah, they dropped the ball on him right from the get-go, but they recovered, like I mentioned, with some of the other runs he had. Do you think we'll see some kind of weird twist, like Triple H turning heel, siding with John Laurinaitis, and facing CM Punk at WrestleMania, with Jericho going against Taker? Not something I'd like to see, but what do you think? I think anything is a possibility in WWE. I mean, they've changed plans before. You look back at 2009, Christian was originally going to be the guy that attacked Jeff Hardy, but when it leaked on the internet, WWE decided it was too predictable, so they went in an entirely different direction. They had Matt Hardy be the attacker, and they put Christian in Matt Hardy's role on ECW. So, I mean, I could see that happening, where they think that CM Punk versus Jericho and Undertaker versus Triple H is just too predictable, and they could just do this big swerve and have Triple H go in a feud with Punk, and then do Jericho Undertaker, since that match hasn't been done at WrestleMania. Whatever they do is fine with me, because like I've said before, WrestleMania is all about The Rock and John Cena, and I know there are some people that, it's funny, for years people were talking about how they wanted to see The Rock versus John Cena. But then when it's finally happening, I see all these comments on Twitter now about, oh my God, this match is going to suck and it's overrated and people need to stop talking about it. But, I've heard so many people that have given up on wrestling talking about how they want to see this pay-per-view now. So, I mean, this is a really big deal for WWE in terms of bringing in people that have given up on wrestling, and hopefully they can bring some of those fans back and keep them. I mean, I think it's really crucial that WrestleMania is a good show this year, because you're going to have a lot of eyeballs that haven't been watching in a while. So, yeah, maybe they feel they need to do something different and not so predictable in order to maintain that audience that they get. Kane has appeared in so many Royal Rumbles and had the most eliminations in a single Rumble, the quickest elimination, and the most eliminations overall, second only to HBK. That being said, do you think Kane deserves to win a Royal Rumble? I talked about this months ago where I thought it would be a great idea to have Kane come back with a mask and win the Rumble and then go on to WrestleMania to face Mark Henry and perhaps Daniel Bryan in like a triple threat match. But as it turned out, WWE went in a different direction and really would not make sense now for Kane to win the Rumble. But I do suspect him to be in it since WWE has this rule now where anybody can be in the Rumble. This is their marketing ploy. So I guess Cena's going to be in it and Kane's going to be in it and, anybody can be in it. Maybe The Rock will be in it. Who knows? But, yeah, I think at the least Kane will have a good run in the Rumble. He'll come in and destroy a bunch of people, but perhaps he'll be eliminated by Cena. Maybe Kane will beat Cena in the actual match they have, and then in the Rumble, Cena will throw Kane out, something like that. But yeah, I don't think Kane will win. I think it would have been cool for him to win if they were going to go with that SmackDown match. But plans change. Okay, that'll do it for No DQ&A video. Don't forget Royal Rumble coverage at NoDQ.com this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Tell a friend, spread the word on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Thanks as always for watching the videos, and we'll see you next time.